UFC Fight Night Sterling versus Zalal took place this weekend. I made a prediction video and I went 5-1 on my predictions, so I did decently alright for myself. But we have seen many performances on that card, and there are many fights to make next in their divisions. So in today's video I will show you and I will tell you why I think these fights should be made. To start with, FN Sterling beat Yusuf Zalal by unanimous decision. I called it. Was it a boring fight? Yes. Did he prove himself to be good? He did alright. He weren't amazing. Weren't like the best fight I've ever seen. But he's proven he can hang in the top 5 of the division. Which sucks because I think he's boring. I don't like Aljo. But I think the next fight to make is Sterling versus Murphy. Solely because Murphy lost against Ivloev, so did Sterling. These two haven't fought each other. Murphy's got some very good striking and some decent ground game. Sterling has striking and elite ground game. So I personally believe these two should face each other, and whoever fights Volk next, the loser in the next Volk fight should fight these, and the winner of that fight will go on to fight Volk. That's my opinion on how the fight should play out. These two fight each other. That's the more contender shot for the title. The person who loses against Volk should have faced the winner of these two, or these two, whoever wins out of these two, will face Volk after the next Volk fight. In my opinion, it'd do well. It'd do well in my opinion. I don't know. I think both of these would personally lose to Volk. I think Volk would shit on pairing them, but if in this fight I would have Algio to win with the grappling. I think he'd just wrestle the hell out of Murphy with his cardio and everything. But I would have Sterling 48-47. I think Lerone would drop Aljo though. I think if anything, Aljo would win 48-47 decision, or Murphy would drop Aljo and Aljo would be down and out early on. But I would take Aljo 47. Then we have Yusuf Zalal versus Kevin Vallejos. Now, Yusuf proved he can kind of hang with the top 10, but he needs to prove he can stay in the top 10. Vallejos is coming off a big win against Josh Emmett. I personally believe this fight will show to us who deserves to be in the top 10. If Zalal wins, we can easily see right he deserves to be in the top 10. Vallejos needs to fight a bit more to prove he needs to be in the top 10. If Vallejos can win and even let's say knock out Zalal, we're seeing the up and coming of a brand new prospect in the division, a new contender in the division. So I personally believe this fight would be a bang. I'd get a fight night main event personally. A fight night main event. This one would go very hard. Zalal versus Vallejos. I think it'd go to decision, but I think Zalal had a very good grappling, but Vallejos has good defense and immense power. But I would take Zalal by like round 3 submission, in my opinion. But I think Vallejos does have the chance to knock him out early on. Then we have Jocelyn Edwards versus Raquel Pennington. I changed my pick last second with Jocelyn Edwards versus Dumont. I knew Edwards was going to win when I fully looked at their stats on paper. Edwards needs to fight next for a title, but she needs to prove herself one last time. Pennington hasn't fought in 2 years. She hasn't fought in 2 years. These two are the next to fight each other, because we all know Harrison is going to fight Amanda Nunes. That's the next fight in the division. But what we need to happen is Edwards fight Pennington. It'd be a boring fight. Pennington fights are always boring in my opinion. I don't think they're able to call about. But Edwards I think would piece up Pennington, and then it'd be Kayla Harrison or Nunes. But I personally think Kayla Harrison would beat Amanda Nunes versus Jocelyn Edwards. Do I think Edwards can become champion? Yes, if Harrison and Nunes didn't exist. If they didn't exist, Edwards would be champion. But because Harrison exists, I don't think she's touching the belt. But I think it'd be good for. I think it'd be like a round 2 submission for Kayla Harrison if Edwards fought. But between these two, Jocelyn Edwards 50-45 on our scorecards. Pennington is just not a good fighter at all. Not a good fighter at all. But Pennington needs to come back because she's been inactive for like 2 years, and her last fight was against Pena, which she lost. So yeah, Edwards versus Pennington is the next fight to make. Then we have Norma Dumont versus Eileen Perez. Norma's been way too inactive. That's why I personally believe she lost the fight. She's been way too inactive. and Dumont needs to prove herself that she can stay in the top five. Perez is needs to break into the top five to have a potential title shot. And this fight would be a good co-main on a fight night. Very, very good co-main on a fight night. I'd take Perez by decision, because if you watched the fight last night, Dumont had a head up when she was like defending from strikes. She was throwing and she was like leaning back when throwing them. She struggled to get Edwards on the floor at some points. I personally believe Perez would have a massive striking advantage and a somewhat grappling advantage and all. It'd be a boring fight. Dumont is a very boring fighter in my opinion. She's a good fighter, but she's very, very, very lackluster. But I personally believe Perez would win by decision, 30-27. But whoever wins this would would then be proven to be a good top five contender. But Dumont needs to prove herself in the division, because if she doesn't, she's no, she won't make it. To be fair, I personally don't think she would make it. Then we have Rafa Garcia versus Manuel Torres. Rafa came off a great win against Hernandez. I personally thought Hernandez would win. I was wrong, very wrong. But it was a great showing by Garcia. Garcia pieced him up on the feet. Hernandez couldn't get going at all, and he nearly finished him. If Rafa put on any bit more pressure, I personally believe he would have finished him. But Garcia wants a ranked opponent. Manuel Torres is a ranked opponent. Manuel hasn't fought since last year in October. It'd be a good fight. Both men are great strikers. Both men are very, very good strikers. So I personally believe this fight would be an absolute insane showing. I'd have Garcia to win due to I think he's the next big thing Garcia in lightweight division. Torres' last move against Grant Dawson. Grant Dawson is when he's Grant Dawson into. But I think Garcia would win by TKO. Personally, I personally do believe Garcia would win by TKO because uh, Torres has been TKO'd before in the division by Bahamondes, so I believe Garcia would beat Torres by round 2 TKO in my personal opinion. But it'd be a great fight. It would be a right. To be fair, it could be a Mexico like fight night co-main or even a main event on a fight night. It would be a very good headliner, or like I said, a co-main headliner for a Mexico card. But yeah, this is the next fight to next most logical fight to make for Garcia next. Then for Hernandez, he went on a 4-fight winning streak. I wanted him to win. I thought he would have won. He didn't. Jai Herbert's coming off a huge win. Jai Herbert other week came off a huge comeback win, which many people thought he was going to lose the fight. I thought he was going to lose. He looked like he was going to lose in the fight anyway, but he came back against what do you call it, Mandel. Yes, Herbert will have a huge reach and height advantage, but both men have the skill to knock each other out, and both men do have the ability to what do you call it, strike each other very, very well. So I personally believe it'd be a very good, interesting, stylistic matchup, and it'd show to us if because Herbert wants to stay active. If Herbert wants to stay active, give him Hernandez next, and if Herbert no, we've got Herbert now. If Hernandez wants to come back and bounce back quick, Herbert's the guy to do it against. I personally believe this to be a rate good matchup to make. Both have good striking, both with all right ground game, but I think it'd be like a very tactical striking matchup. But in this, I'd probably take Herbert. I would take Herbert by like round 2 TKO or 29-28 decision. But Hernandez would have some. I think Hernandez his chance to win the fight would be by knockout early on if he catches Herbert. But it'd be a very, very good match, and I think it's the most logical matchup to make for both of these men. Then we have Davy Grant. Crafty Vet wins again. Cody Durden also won on the fight on the card last night, so I personally believe they're both in the same division, both going off wins, both crafty vets, both never fought each other. It'll be a very entertaining matchup. Both have good striking. Cody's been finished many times, but Cody has shown to us he can come back from a lot of predicaments. Grant's coming off a big win against a debuting fighter, a young fighter. I personally believe. I think I don't know. This fight would be a huge toss up because what do we call it? Cody came off a 4-fight losing streak to beat Rafael Filho. Right, a lot of people counting them out. But what do we call it? It shows to us Cody can come back from absolutely out. So I personally believe I think Davey would win it. I think Davey would win it, but Cody does have the skill to beat Grant. But I'd take Davey by decision any day of the week. But Cody could pressure him and take him down and just to wear him out with his ground game. But yeah, I would have Grant by decision. But this is a logical matchup to make. But both are crafty vets. They both never fought each other, and it'd be a very good matchup to make. England versus America. It'd be a good matchup to make. And I'd say winner gets top 15. Winner gets top 15. You're thinking that makes no sense. It does. In my opinion, it does. Both are crafty vets. Avril Vilio were decently ranked. I know he was unranked, but he was a decent unranked opponent, unranked fighter. I personally believe whoever wins this fight should get a crack at the top 15. 15 or 14, they should get a shot at next, in my opinion. Then we have Adrian Luna Martinetti. Martinetti, I knew he had the skills, but I just knew he couldn't win because he didn't have enough skills, right? He's an alright fighter, but he needs to prove his UFC caliber. Gutierrez hasn't fought since last year, right? He needs to come back and fight Martinetti, in my opinion. It'd be a good fight. Another veteran for Martinetti to fight to prove he can get over the hump of veteran fighters. If he can, then you cut him. If Martinetti cannot beat Gutierrez, you cut Gutierrez there and then. Because it just proves, I can't talk. It just proves to us Martinetti is only good on the regional scene. He's only good on the regional scene if he cannot beat Gutierrez. Gutierrez isn't all that. He's an alright fighter, but he's not the best. Gutierrez last beat John Castaneda by split decision. He then lost to Farid Basharat. Martinetti could win the fight. He has all his abilities to do it, but his combos are shocking. He throws one strike at a time and don't follow up. Gutierrez has some elite strike, not elite, but some decent striking. In his ground game's alright and all. So I personally believe Gutierrez needs to come back. If Gutierrez can't beat Martinetti, you cut Martinetti, you cut Gutierrez. But if Martinetti can't beat Gutierrez, you cut Martinetti due to him just proving he's just a regional can crusher. Then we have Barcelos. I am so happy that Barcelos won. He's old. He's coming off a 5-fight winning streak now. Coming off a great win against Montel Jackson, who went to a close decision with Davison Figueiredo. He wants a ranked opponent next. Ryle hasn't. RRJ hasn't got a fight upcoming. Which would be a great good grappling matchup. Both have great ground game. We saw with Barcelos, he got dropped in the first round and he nearly got finished in round one. He nearly got finished in round one, but he came back and he won the fight by split decision. He came back and he won. His ground game is elite. He nearly finished Montel Jackson 3 times. Buzzer beaters nearly at the end of every round. Rosas Jr. has some elite ground game for a young fighter. It's a young fighter versus an old vet. It'd be a great one to see. We've seen Ronald lose against Christian Rodriguez by being held down a lot. I think Barcelos has the skill set to do that, and it'd be a good fight to prove. If Barcelos can beat Rosas Jr., he can beat young and up and coming fighters. He can do that. He's proven it with Montel Jackson. If he can do it with Rosas Jr., he's proven it even further. So, if Rosas Jr. can beat Barcelos, it's proven Barcelos is still a good fighter, but he's not enough to be top 15. And Rosas Jr. can beat the crafty vets in the division because he's not got any fight booked. But I booked this fight for a Mexico fight night. Like in UFC Noche, this would be a very good main card fight for. But I'd take Barcelos by decision. I really would. Barcelos I think would beat Rosas Jr. Personally, I think he's not strong enough to handle Barcelos' power on the ground. He would hold him down too well. But yeah, Barcelos 30-27 decision. Then we have Montel Jackson. Montel was so close to finishing Barcelos. He was honestly so close to finishing him, but he just couldn't do it. Now on a two-faced kid. It's not a bad two fight. It's not like he's been knocked out or out. Split decision against hiring Barcelos, which, look, it could have gone either way, but I would have given a nod to Barcelos any other day, and also a split decision loss to Figueiredo. And that's 2 split decision losses in a row, right? It's not a bad skid, but it needs to bounce back. Jourdain's coming off a win from the other weekend, right? So I personally believe Jourdain versus I can't get the words out of my mouth. Jesus Christ! Jourdain versus Jackson would be a very good fight. Both are decently young fighters. Both are decently young. Both have amazing styles. Jourdain has a ground game. He's got some striking, but he's mainly a ground game fighter. But I personally believe uh, Jackson could easily knock out Jourdain. We've seen Jourdain get knocked out by Gene Silver, but I think we could also see Jourdain withstanding the onslaught like Marcelos did, and then taking down and submitting Jackson. I'd take Jackson. We around three TKO in this fight. I think Jourdain would gas out in the later rounds due to Jackson's like non-stop pressure and his striking game is, for an up-and-coming fighter. It is so elite. Jackson's stand-up game, but I would take Jackson. We around three TKO. Then we have Ryan Spann versus Kennedy and Nchikuru. I knew from the get-go Spann would beat Buchecha. I don't know how he was an underdog in the fight. I don't know how he was an underdog. The second round TKO win was absolutely meant. I think I called it in my video. I think I said round two KO. It was an absolutely mad KO, but he needs to prove himself more in heavyweight. He's 2-1 in heavyweight. He needs to prove himself like once more to get to the rankings before he gets like to a top 8 and top 15. Nchikuru would be a good fight for him. He's a good striker, but he's not won in 2 years. He needs to prove that he can still hang with heavyweight fighters before he gets cut out of the promotion. Both are good strikers. Spann's got the grappling advantage by far. He has the massive grappling advantage by far due to him out grappling a BJJ black belt. But this fight could end either way. I think Spann would win by knockout. I think he would win by knockout, but I think he could also win by guillotine choke because he's proven he can get a lot of like sneak. He nearly subbed Buchecha multiple times. It's just Buchecha's like skilled in grappling. He can't be submitted, but Spann is just that good. He just sparked him out cold in round 2. I think he would beat Nchikuru, but I think Kennedy could easily take Spann into deep waters round 2 or 3 and get him. Could be saw Spann in round 2 get absolutely knackered. But I would take Spann in this fight. We around one. No, we around one submission. But I can easily see Kennedy getting around 3 KO and all. But this be a perfect fight to make. And finally, we have Max Buchecha. Fire him. Get him out of the UFC. He's not UFC. He's not UFC caliber. He's not. Right. He's on to in the UFC. Lost to Martin Budai. Drew to Nchikuru. Lost to Ryan Spann. He's 0-1. He's 5-3. 5-3. That's a terrible record. Getting back into grappling competitions. Shove his ass back to ONE FC. He's not UFC caliber. He does not. He cannot be in the UFC. He doesn't deserve to be in the UFC. He's shameful. He's a shameful fighter. Get him out of the UFC. Get him gone and cut. There's nobody left for him in it. There's nobody left for him to fight. Nobody to prove himself against. Nobody. Not even Lucas I think Lucas Brecci's been cut. I can't remember if I think he has. I can't remember. But I think even Lucas Brecci would beat this guy. Marcus is a shocking fighter. Get him gone. I personally believe there's not left for him. He's proven to us he can't. He's not a UFC caliber fighter. He's not good enough for the UFC. Get him gone. Honestly, he's taken a spot in the 73-man division, but get him gone. Honestly, he's a shocking fighter. A absolutely shocking fighter. But yeah, these are the fights I think we should all make next. And yeah, let me know what you guys think and have a good day and have a good night.